Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and we're going to figure out why this code generation stuff is giving so many diagnostic errors and problems. I'm also using the 2022 recorder. As I mentioned in the last episode, it crashed. So yeah, I'm going to be watching this a little cautiously in this one just to make sure it's not something that's a reoccurrence. And then hopefully it just gets through everything, and then eventually I just assume it's always going to work, and then I never think it's a problem again. I did change a couple settings in it just to make sure that it was not going to do any key bindings or anything, though I don't think the key binding thing was a problem because when it started up again, it said something about it literally crashed. So yeah, we'll see what this does. But I grabbed a couple from the diagnostic list just to start with, like sign number. And when it does a sign number of object, I believe, no, that's still an interface. Sometimes my code actually generates a whole bunch of things if it needs to make a delegate or if it needs to do some other code generation stuff. The text writer, though, should be just fine. So let's see how we can make this so it's pretty easy just to say my types should just be this. Okay. And if let's do this. If I say my types, our types are equal to a new type array, where what I'm going to put in it is, in this case, type of text writer. And now I just comment that out. And then I can take all this and I could also say comment that out, because I don't think that's, oh yeah, you do need assemblies. There. So you need the assemblies, but then we can push this like here. Okay, so the easiest thing to do is and I could pull this out and make it a function that says, get me the types. Getting the assemblies as the selected ones with the metadata references, I don't think is the problem that we really care about. So what this is going to do is force types to be the only type of text writer. So now let's run this and see if this is a success. So give me a moment and I'll see what this looks like with this circumstance. Okay, it fails, and that's good because we want it to fail with just this one. And you see here we're getting invalid expression term. We're also getting this with the immutable, that assuming immutable reference. Those are warnings. I don't think they're related, though. I do want to say let's copy all of this and at least capture that. Okay. Use by rocks matches. You may need to supply runtime policy. Yeah, I may need to do something where I'm also grabbing all the references that, because I'm saying with the type app domain, current domain, get assemblies where it's not dynamic. This selects all of them. I thought when I'm looking into not integration, performance tests, wasn't there something here that said in test assistance? Yes, that's the verifier. This is the reference assemblies, which isn't quite the same thing that we're looking for. But I think you can say it here, create from file, image, stream. Okay, and these are just reference assemblies that I believe is just a list of them, right? Yeah. Well, that's interesting. 5.0. That should be 6.0 by this point. Why would I say 5.0? Though I'm not using this for this test, so I don't know. Why would I say that? Parse, package identity, path combined, reference assemblies. I don't know why I'm even going down this thing. I don't know why that matters. Because here, the thing though is that all those warnings are going to kick off here. So I think eventually I'm going to have to get to that, but we don't care about the warnings. I just want to capture it, get back on track. So now the thing that I want to do is say, well, what is wrong about a text writer? Like, why is this causing problems? And this might be interesting to find out because I'll have to see if I can actually find the generated code to look at it and then see what the error is. So let's run this again and see what happens. Okay, so somewhere in the output compilation, we need to have the syntax trees, right? Because here's the one that actually is the mock. Whoops. Try again. Syntax trees. So we have two. Let's copy this one, copy the value, and we'll pull that here. And then we need the second syntax tree. This one will be longer. much longer. Okay, and in fact, you know what? Let's actually put this into its own file. Okay, so we want to come back here and say no. And the reason I want to do this is because it's going to give me the sequence points of where things failed. And let's not do returns, okay? So that's kind of interesting. Whatever. So let's look at some of these diagnostics, shall we? Can I like pick a whole, oh, that's not ideal. I wanted to pick a whole bunch. But let's grab this one, copy value, okay, and then we'll put it over here. It's just like, yeah, it does the full qualification because I didn't want to put them all at the top. So we're actually going to get rid of that, and we're going to say at line 924. Oh. Well, yeah. Why is it putting a space here too? That looks ugly as snot. This makes sense though. I mean, if you want to call the base method, you wouldn't just say params args, you would just say args. So we are already seeing two things that when I'm calling the, and this is in the case where I believe write is going to be abstract on the text writer class. If I go look at the text writer here, and let's F12 into that, and I look for write, where we're passing in, it's a virtual. Oh, sorry, it has an implementation. That's why my code is generating the base, because we're saying you may not have put in an expectation, and that's okay. We need to call the base. But the problem of what we're doing here is we're actually saying it, well, it's a params, and that's wrong. We don't want to say params in this case. I do believe we would have to say, if it's an out or a ref, we have to say out or ref, but we don't say params in this case. It's just that. So I think we're overusing some things here. So that's one. So let's get a list of the things that we are grabbing. When we call base dot blah, 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 if the parameter is a params, we can't call it with params at the call site. Okay, that makes sense. Now, what are some other errors that we're seeing here? Come back over here. So we saw params. These are at the same line. So I believe the syntax error, I'm sure there's a way to say just copy all. 2532. Yeah, I believe it's just because there's params there and that's what's messing it up. Like if I come back over here, this comma here is confusing it. If I got rid of that, it would be fine. When there is a params though, we're getting an extra space. When there is a params, we're getting an extra space. This isn't an error, just a formatting thing. Okay. But then there was another one in here as well, and that is nullability. And then there's another one too with warnings. So we're going to copy that one. Nullability type of parameter value, and that's at 1976. What? This is a setter. Is new line? Yeah. I said go to, didn't I? Yeah. New line is saying it's not it's not nullable, which is doing the right thing here. This one's a little confusing to me. Nullability of type parameter value doesn't match overridden member, possibly because of nullability attributes. But we're saying it's a string, and if I look at new line here, like I have here, it's saying it's a string. So that one's a little confusing. I'm not sure why at first glance that's saying that that's wrong. And then there's these types of things. Let's copy this, copy value. No, we want to pull this down. So this is saying does not need a CSLS compliant attribute because the assembly does not have a CSLS compliant attribute. Well, of course. If something's not CLS compliant and that does not have a CLS compliant attribute, are we generating one just automatically? It wouldn't show up in any of these trees. Come on, move over here. CLS. Oh, okay. We are putting in there because it must be on the method. We don't just put this in here because of reasons. We look at the member and say, do you have any metadata? And if you do, we just put it in here. But that's a funny error because it's saying, close that. Does not need a compliant because the assembly does not have a CSLS. So this is going to have to be one of those one-off things. Crap. It's a warning. It's not an error. It's a warning. And same thing with this nullability thing. It's a warning, but I would like to be as clean as I possibly can. It's also just, why are you continually moving? Stop it. So if we find a CLS compliant attribute where there is none in the containing assembly for that member, we don't need to emit it. I think that's what that's saying. Okay, so we've got the base, the space thing, and I'm putting this here because it's also, I think, going to be close in terms of the code generation for that one. But now we got this nullability thing here. So I'm going to stop this for a second, and I'm going to say, come back up here. Just see if our x is equal to new text writer. Okay. And you don't like that because it's abstract. Fine. X dot new line. intersects the line terminator. Sure. And if I hover over you and say F12, oh, come on. What is the... I can never remember that link. Source.net. Thank you. Thank you, Brain. You're welcome, Brain. Okay. Is this like at 100? Yeah, let's move it down. Okay. So let's look at text writer. Okay. And I want to find new line. So this is interesting. It's saying it's a string, but we allow null. And if I look at the code here, new line, you'll notice that we do not have an attribute here. We don't find allow null. Oh, these are going to be fun. This is going to lead to so many episodes. I'm on vacation, so my attitude is very lax and just like, whatever. You know, whatever. But this is interesting because we are not actually finding I notice we don't get spaces in between the properties either. A little minor coding thing, formatting thing. But yeah, we don't actually put, I thought we did. Do we have like null anywhere in this code? No, we don't. So do we even see the allow null attribute? We should. I don't think those are like synthesized like the nullability context crap is. We're also getting a space here. That's ugly. That's just horrible. Just, they're minor things, but since I'm going to be cleaning stuff up, I might as well catch them. I'm guessing that the base dot with the params, I don't even know how to guess at these. The formatting ones, let's call these text writer issues. Okay. So we can push these all over. Not an error, just formatting. For the new line property, the type is string, but it has allow null. And we're not omitting that. Let's look that up real quick. Just say .NET. Well, whatever, C#. Oh my God, type. Allow null attribute. What does this mean? A non-null parameter, field, or property may be null. Specifies that null is allowed as an input even if the corresponding type disallows it. To override a method that has a parameter annotated with this attribute, use the question mark operator. For example, override JSON reader, I set existing num. Yes. So what this means is that you don't have to put the attribute in, but when you override a method with it, which means it has to be virtual or abstract, you have to make sure the type is nullable. Yeah, that's fun. It's just laughing so much here. You know, it's okay. So now we have to see, let's get rid of that view here. I want to put in here, according to this, we need to put for the type. Okay, so we got a couple things to do here. Now that's not going to remove all of the errors, but this is going to probably, this is an error. Okay, this is a warning. This is also a warning. This is just formatting. Yeah, that's our own way of doing it. You're still recording good. You haven't crashed. That's a good thing. So we'll take that out of the description here, because we were saying that's the truth of the matter, the true. Okay, well, I'm at 23. I'm going to stop here for this one and probably stop for the day. Because again, I'm on vacation and I have all sorts of fun things I want to do. Vacation just, I'm already on a Monday and I'm already sitting there going, well, I want to do a bike ride every day. And I need to fix some things around the house that I've just been putting off, and I wanted to use my vacation to do that. And I have this going on this day, and I want, it's like all these things I want to do, but it makes it it's a nice staycation. We went to Wisconsin this past weekend for a wedding, and then I've been traveling a little bit, 2 conferences over the past month or so in Texas, and I'm like, okay, I don't have to travel again until the end of July. At least. And I'm kind of looking forward to that, not having to travel. So just reminded me of a couple things, but that's a different story. So kind of nice to just be at home, relaxing, not having anything real major going on, and trying to avoid all the heat, as it's really hot here in Minnesota. It's almost like 100, and that's insane. I got home from Wisconsin on Sunday, and in the afternoon, I'm like, I want to go for a bike ride, because I'm now making an effort to lose some weight again. I've been going up a little bit too much, and I need to drop some pounds. And so, like, okay, I'll get on the bike ride. And it was Sunday afternoon, and I was going out. I'm like, okay, this was a mistake. So I did my ride this morning around like 9:30ish or something. So it was still very warm, but it didn't feel like a furnace yet. So I'm going to try to do my bike rides in the morning where it's the temps haven't hit too hot just yet. So we'll see. But yeah, it's my vacation, so I don't want to push my effort too much on these things. But I've done this before. I think I've done this in episodes in the past, where if I'm doing things with code generation or whatever, especially with rocks, I'll update to something, and then I realize, I've got all these bugs in here that I didn't realize before. I know I've done this before with rocks in years gone by, and this is just another case of it. So I'm going to have to find all these cases again, and what is now around 8,000-ish errors and warnings. Hopefully we can get on the quest again to knock those down to 0. I don't know what to do about this off the top. This reference thing used by rocks matches identity 6. I have the feeling maybe tests shouldn't be referencing a specific version, and it doesn't, because that's all in the dictionary props file, and that's 6. So why it would be picking 5 is another story. Assuming somebody reference used by rocks matches of, that's a weird one, because rocks shouldn't be referencing, it's standard, and it might be going to 5. Restore additional project sources. Why do I even have this in here anymore? I'm almost thinking we could take this out. I think by this point, that shouldn't even be in there anymore. And this targets thing, I don't know if we need that in here either. I'm just deleting stuff left and right. Before I quit for today, let's go back here and see. Let's take that out. Let's comment this out. And then let's put these back in. Oops, the other way. Okay. And let's just see again what the count is, and then I will end for today. Okay, so what's the diagnostic count? 8571. Okay. So current diagnostic count 8571. Okay, so that's, and of those, I don't know how many are like, if I come into here, can we do that actually in here? Rocks diagnostics count of severity is equal to diagnostic severity here. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Really? This is a func of a diagnostic and a bool. That's stupid. You can, and now you're not even going to, oh. No, it can't be all of them. Are you kidding me? That makes no sense whatsoever. Severity is a diagnostic severity. It's not a flag, is it? It's got to be equal to. Okay, whatever. I'm just, whatever. We've got a bunch. And hopefully over the course of the other episodes, once we fix one or two, the other ones would start to fall out rather rapidly because you start to address other ones that are showing up in other areas. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.